But man, when you start talking about people's deceased parents, you crossing a line that's hard to come back from.
50 Cent just lit a fire under King Harris, and now the whole internet is going crazy.
I want to say something about my mama. Your mama dead as. Your mama dead as. Go dig her up. Go dig her up.
King didn't waste a second. He jumped on live and started snapping off. Wild energy everywhere. Then out of nowhere, Boosie came sliding in ready with the smoke, and things took a wild turn fast. But King and T.I. had no clue what Boosie was about to drop. It hit like a bombshell. After that moment, everything flipped. 50 Cent really stepped over the line, and King Harris completely lost his cool. You see, there are certain lines in hip-hop that you just don't cross, no matter who you are.
I want to say something about my mama. Your mama dead as. Your mama dead as. Go dig her up. Go dig her up.
You can talk about a man's music all day. You can roast his style, his hairline, or his weak streaming numbers. That's normal. That's part of the game. But there's one rule that's been locked in since the start of this rap thing. One line even the wildest rappers respect. That rule, you never bring a man's family into it. You don't come for his wife. That's off limits, period. You don't come for somebody's mama, ever. That's one of the oldest rules in the game. If two people got beef, it stays between them, period.
Picture of your mama, she dead. Pay respect. Stop playing with my mama, playing like that, going like that.
But on February 22nd, 2026, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson decided he was gonna break that rule in the boldest, most public way possible. And the fallout? Man, it's been one of the messiest, most personal, and most uncomfortable dramas hip-hop's seen in years. Here's how it all went down. 50 Cent and T.I. had already been trading shots online for weeks, arguing over versus battles and whispering about snitch talk. The tension was real, but still just regular rap beef.
I'm not raised like that. I don't go. I'm not going back my mom. I'm not going.
Two legends talking slick on the internet, nothing new. But then 50 took things too far. He hopped on Instagram and dropped a not-so-flattering picture of T.I.'s wife, Tamika Tiny Harris, and the caption, pure disrespect. It was like he wanted to embarrass her in front of his millions of followers. He basically told her to stay out of grown folks' business, but the way he said it crossed the line. This wasn't a slick subliminal or a playful jab. It was a straight-up attack on a woman who had nothing to do with the beef between him and her man.
So tell your mama dig her and post a picture that look better than my mama.
And that moment right there, that's when everything went off the rails. Because when T.I. and Tiny's 21-year-old son, King Harris, saw that post, he lost it. No waiting for his dad to clap back, no calm down talk. He jumped straight into defense mode and made it clear he wasn't about to let anyone disrespect his mama like that. King Harris didn't wait for no family sit-down or calm talk about how to handle it. He went straight to Instagram Live and unleashed everything on 50 Cent.
Your son don't love you. You don't got no family.
The second he started talking, the whole internet froze. Timelines stopped, comments went wild. Everybody had to see what he was saying. Right then and there, King took this beef somewhere no one saw coming. He didn't hold back. He went straight for 50's deepest scar, his late mother, Sabrina Jackson, who tragically passed away in a house fire when 50 was just 8 years old. That pain isn't just a soft spot. It's a major part of 50 Cent's whole story.
Not love. You rich, but you not love. Money means nothing without no one to spend it with. Your son don't love you.
And King aimed right at it. No hesitation, no mercy. But he wasn't done yet, not even close. King kept that same fiery energy going. No filter, no chill. It was raw emotion, straight heat pouring out of him in front of thousands watching live. He told 50 straight up, if you want to post pictures of somebody's mama, then post your own. Then he hit him with the cold truth. Or wait, you can't. She's not here no more.
I don't play by my mama. At the end of the I don't play by my mama. I'm just how I'm raised, nigga. I wasn't raised by y'all father. My dad is T.I.P. Tip. That's how I'm raised. I don't play like this.
That line right there, it made the whole internet go quiet. It wasn't just a clapback. It was one of those moments that shifts everything, that turns a rap beef into something personal. King stood firm on one thing. He said the way he was raised, he could never sit back while someone tried to disrespect the woman who gave him life. He wasn't backing down for nothing.
First off, you gotta understand where King coming from. That's his mama, man.
King made it loud and clear. He was raised by T.I., and that means he's built different. He wanted everybody watching to understand that he don't play about his family. Then he dropped a message that hit like a warning shot. Tell your daddy, letting 50 and anyone rolling with him know they messed up bad by bringing that kind of smoke to the Harris family's door.
Can't be out here playing with a man mama and think it's just gonna be rappers rapping.
But King wasn't finished, not even close. He went after the one thing everybody in hip-hop knows cuts 50 Cent the deepest, his rocky relationship with his son, Marquise Jackson. That hit hard because it's no secret that 50 and Marquise have had one of the most public, painful fallouts we've ever seen. Years of shade, interviews, and heartbreak all out there for the world to watch. King knew exactly where to hit. He went right for the emotional target and didn't miss.
King of YN, he got that fire in it, and he let it be known he ain't going for none of that.
He told the whole internet that all of 50's money, all his business moves, his hit shows, and his big-time success don't mean a thing when you go home to an empty house with no real family beside you. That line cut deep, way past rap, way past clout. That was personal warfare on a whole different level. Then King circled it right back to himself, making sure everyone understood where he came from and why he moves the way he does.
You got 50 Cent posting pictures of Tiny on his Instagram, trolling her.
He said he's got a real foundation, real roots, and he's standing on that no matter what. King Harris wasn't just talking tough on live, he turned his words into action. On February 24th, 2026, he hit the studio and dropped an entire diss track aimed straight at 50 Cent, titled Man. And he didn't just release it quietly, he went all out, dropping it on every major streaming platform like he had something to prove. The video? Crazy visuals. It was shot in a dark parking garage filled with luxury foreign cars.
Telling people to keep his name out their mouth. 50 been a menace on the internet since the internet started.
King rocking a red hoodie and beanie, spitting his bars with pure conviction. One of the standout lines had everyone talking. Speaking on my mama, I tell Chaz ring the alarm, probably cross his legs and fold his arms. You could tell he meant every single word. No stutter, no bluff, just raw emotion and pride in every bar. But King didn't stop there. He pulled a wild move, dug up an old photo of 50 Cent holding what looked like an adult toy, posted it to his story, and added the hashtag #NoAI to make sure everyone knew it was 100% real. That's when folks realized King Harris was on full-blown scorched earth mode.
You know how he do, but King took it to a whole different level of disrespect.
No chill, no backing down, and definitely no apologies. The internet went wild. Every blog, every feed, every comment section was lit up, dissecting every move he made. And of course, when drama this explosive hits hip-hop, everybody's got something to say. Your favorite rapper's got a take, your barber's got a take. Even that one guy at the gas station who still rocks FUBU had something to say. But there's one voice that carries more weight than most: Boosie Badazz. Boosie ain't just some internet talker chasing clout. This is a man who's been through real stuff. He's done time in the Louisiana penitentiary, lived by the code, and never been afraid to speak his mind, no matter who gets offended. So when Boosie finally sat down and addressed the whole King Harris versus 50 Cent situation, the entire hip-hop world leaned in, waiting to hear exactly what he had to say.
Cause he felt like 50 was trying to play his mama like she wasn't a legend.
The first thing Boosie did was show real understanding for King Harris's anger. He didn't clown him, didn't call him reckless, didn't treat him like some kid chasing attention. He understood where all that fire was coming from. Because when someone speaks on your mama, that's different. Boosie made it clear, whether you from the hood, the suburbs, or anywhere in between, your mama is off limits. That's sacred ground. No debate, no exceptions. And he pointed out exactly where this whole storm started. Somebody crossed that sacred line. That's when Boosie dropped one of the realest takes about this entire beef.
Talking about your mama dead as go dig that bitch up.
Once you bring family into it, it's no longer entertainment. It becomes personal. He said when the family line gets crossed, it ain't rap beef anymore. It's something deeper, something way more dangerous. In this game, business moves one way, But blood reacts with emotion, not logic, and Boosie knew that better than most. Still, he gave King some real respect. He said he admired the backbone, the courage to stand tall for his people, to defend his mama without hesitation. That kind of loyalty hits different. But then Boosie's tone shifted, because while he respected why he did it, he couldn't fully back how he did it.
That's some heavy, dark shit to be saying, telling a to go put flowers on a grave.
He kept it solid and placed the blame where it truly belonged, right at 50 Cent's feet. He reminded everyone that 50 was the one who sparked this mess by dragging Tiny into a beef that had absolutely nothing to do with her. 50 lit the fire, then stood back to watch it burn. And Boosie didn't sugarcoat anything. He said what the whole culture already knows. 50 Cent's been running the internet like the biggest bully in hip-hop for over 2 decades. He's done it to Ja Rule, Rick Ross, The Game, Fat Joe, and now he's doing it again with T.I. and his family. That's 50 Cent's whole playbook. He trolls until people snap, then flips their reaction to make them look crazy. But this time, King Harris clapped back with a kind of heat the internet wasn't ready for. Boosie even said it himself. This was a whole different level. And coming from Boosie, a man known for saying some of the wildest things in hip-hop history, that says a lot.
Man, when you start talking about people's deceased parents,
King was standing tall for his mama's name, letting everybody know that Tiny Harris is not somebody you disrespect just to get likes or shares. He was defending his family's name with his whole chest, showing love and loyalty in the only way he knew how, loud, raw, and fearless. But while King's intentions came from love, in the process, he crossed a line that even Boosie, who's seen more street madness than most, said was just too much. Boosie repeated King's words back during his breakdown, and you could feel the weight in the room. It was heavy, real heavy. The way Boosie described it, dark, said it all. Then Boosie dropped the line that summed this whole meltdown better than anyone else ever could. He said there's always been a line every real one in hip-hop knows not to cross. And once you bring somebody's deceased mother into a rap beef, you've stepped into a place where handshakes, apologies, and truces don't mean nothing anymore.
you crossing a line that's hard to come back from. He telling 50 to put the music up and stop playing.
Boosie's words hit like truth wrapped in thunder, the kind that made everyone stop and realize this wasn't just a feud anymore. This was a wound that went too deep to fix. After Boosie's breakdown, the entire hip-hop world went silent for a minute, like everyone needed to breathe and figure out what just happened. But silence never lasts long online, and within hours, the story exploded again. Blogs, podcasts, and YouTube channels all jumped in, dissecting every word Boosie said and every move King made. People started taking sides, some riding with King for defending his family, others saying he went too far, crossing that ultimate line. Meanwhile, 50 Cent stayed true to his nature, laughing it off like nothing touched him. He dropped a few slick posts on Instagram with his classic smirk, making it look like he was unbothered.
If you ask me, it's a mess. You got the South Prince, in a way, T.I.'s son, going at a billionaire mogul.
But real fans could see it. This one got to him. Behind the jokes, there was tension brewing, because 50's built his whole image on being untouchable, and King had just cracked that armor. Finally, T.I. stepped in, and when he spoke, the energy shifted again. He didn't come with threats, he came with wisdom. He said something along the lines of, "Ain't no win in disrespecting the dead, but ain't no peace in disrespecting my family either." That line hit hard, and the internet started quoting it like scripture. You could tell the man was torn, proud that his son stood tall, but frustrated that the whole thing had turned into something darker than music. The industry started buzzing about what might happen next. Would 50 clap back with another ruthless move? Would King drop a part 2? Or would T.I. and 50 actually meet face to face to squash it? No one knew, but one thing was clear. This beef had turned from entertainment to legacy talk. Because when you start mixing pain, pride, and family, the game changes completely. This wasn't about clout anymore. This was about respect, bloodlines, and what happens when old school rules clash with new school fire.
I said I wanted 50. That's what I said. He don't want no smoke though.
The damage was done, And Boosie made it clear this wasn't something that could be undone. He said straight up that what happened left a mark on hip-hop that's not going away anytime soon. Then he broke down something King probably didn't fully realize before going off on live: the mismatch. King was going toe-to-toe with a man who's made a career out of destroying people online and walking away the winner every single time. 50 Cent doesn't even have to win in the usual sense. All he has to do is flip your words, turn you into a meme, and the internet will handle the rest. He's been running that place since before King Harris could even unlock a phone. Boosie said it plain. This wasn't just a fight of words, it was a battle of strategy, and 50's been a master at it for decades. But Boosie didn't stop there. He took it deeper. He warned King about the real-world consequences that come with this kind of energy. He said if King kept moving the way he was moving, prison time was gonna be the next stop, and he wasn't exaggerating one bit. Boosie compared it to his own life, bringing up his son, Tootie Raw, saying he's already sat his boy down, told him, his mama, and his grandma that if you act reckless long enough, you end up locked up. And coming from Boosie, that's not talk. That's wisdom from a man who's been behind those walls and seen how fast real life catches up when pride takes the wheel. But things got even messier from there. Tootie Raw himself decided to jump in the middle of the chaos, posting direct shots at King Harris online, warning him to stay in his lane.
What his wife got to do with anything, you know, the family thing, it's just weird. Them two brothers got a problem. It's like, all right, keep going at each other if that's what y'all gonna do.
That instantly turned the situation from a one-on-one beef into a full-on family clash. And King, you already know he wasn't about to let that slide. He fired right back, not just at Tootie, but at Boosie himself. He started questioning Boosie's credibility, asking who gave him the right to check anybody, and why he thought he could speak on another man's son. The tension was boiling over, and now this wasn't just about 50 Cent anymore. It had turned into something way bigger. Just like that, the beef sprouted a whole new branch, with Boosie's camp now caught up in the crossfire too. What made it even messier was the fact that Boosie wasn't exactly riding for T.I. behind the scenes. Yeah, that's right, things got complicated fast. See, in past interviews, Boosie himself had called out T.I., accusing him of cooperating with law enforcement to get lighter charges, what the streets label as snitching. He even said he had paperwork to back it up. So when Boosie spoke on this 50 Cent versus King Harris drama, he wasn't coming in as some neutral referee. He already had history with one of the main players. That's what made Boosie's take hit different, because even with his own issues with T.I., he still said 50 Cent crossed the line when he dragged family into it. That showed how real his perspective was. He could hold everyone accountable while still seeing where each side was coming from. That's rare in a culture where most people just pick sides and ride blindly. Boosie's words added another layer of truth to the situation, a reminder that in hip-hop, loyalty and principles can get real blurry when old beefs and new egos collide. Now here's where things take a wild twist, because believe it or not, all of this madness started from something as simple as a versus challenge. Yeah, what began as a friendly 20 songs versus 20 songs convo somehow spiraled into dead mama jokes, NSFW photos, and diss tracks recorded in parking garages. Crazy, right? Back when verses first blew up during the 2020 pandemic, T.I. had been trying to lock in a matchup with 50 Cent for years. He wanted to go catalog for catalog, hit for hit, Atlanta versus New York, a moment for the culture. But 50 kept brushing it off, cracking jokes, throwing shade, and clowning the idea like it wasn't worth his time. And that's where the seed was planted, a small back and forth that over time grew into one of the most chaotic, unpredictable, and downright explosive feuds hip-hop's seen in recent memory.
The moment you bring somebody's family into it, it gets crazy. So I totally understand why King went off, you know what I mean? That's his mother.
From the jump, T.I. was serious about that versus battle. He saw it as a moment to prove Atlanta's dominance and show that his catalog could stand toe-to-toe with 50's. He even went public with it, tagging 50 in posts, hyping it up, saying things like, let's give the culture what it needs. But instead of responding with respect, 50 Cent did what 50 always does. He laughed it off, turned it into a joke, and started posting memes. That's when the friendly competition started turning into real tension. For T.I., it was about legacy. But for 50, it was entertainment, another opportunity to troll and keep the spotlight. Months passed and the energy kept building. Every time T.I. mentioned the idea, 50 would find a way to clown him, bringing up old headlines, court rumors, or random jabs that had nothing to do with music. That constant mocking built up frustration, not just for T.I., but for everyone around him, including King Harris, who was watching his father get disrespected over and over again. By the time 2026 rolled around, all that history had piled up like dry wood. It only needed one spark to ignite it, and that spark came when 50 dragged Tiny into the mix. From that point forward, it wasn't about music, streams, or battles. It was personal. The whole thing spiraled from a cultural showdown into a straight-up family war. And once the family lines were crossed, there was no going back. The culture started realizing just how deep-rooted this was. It wasn't about who had the bigger hits anymore. It was about ego, pride, and respect. Fans online started arguing about who went too far first, who should apologize, and whether any of this could ever be fixed. Industry insiders started whispering that this feud had officially gone beyond the point of no return. Some even claimed people close to both sides were trying to calm things down behind the scenes, but the damage had already been done. Every new post, every diss, every response was just pouring more gasoline on a fire that was already burning out of control. What began as a fun challenge for the culture had now turned into one of the rawest, most emotional feuds hip-hop had seen in years, and everyone could feel it was far from over. This wasn't some quick shout-out or casual name drop. T.I. was on a mission. He wanted the G-Unit General himself, the certified New York icon, the mastermind behind Get Rich or Die Trying, to sit across from him and go record for record, hit for hit. T.I. was confident. He truly believed his catalog, 11 albums deep, stacked with classics like What You Know, Live Your Life, Whatever You Like, Swagger Like Us, Bring 'Em Out, Rubber Band Man, and Big Things Poppin', could wash anything 50 Cent could bring to the table. He didn't just talk about it once, he went full campaign mode. On 50's own birthday back in 2020, T.I. dropped a 3-minute Instagram video calling him out directly and clowning him for losing to Kanye West in their 2007 album sales battle. He used that old rivalry as proof that 50 was ducking any real catalog face-off. T.I. was basically saying, you talk tough, but you don't want this smoke when it comes to hits. But no matter how many times T.I. pulled up, 50 never took the bait. Not in 2020, not in 2021, when T.I. literally crashed the stage at the Atlanta premiere of 50's Black Mafia Family show, grabbed the mic, and called him out in person. And not even in February 2026, when T.I. went on Nightcap with Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco and said it again, live for the world to hear. T.I. wasn't backing off. Every single time, 50 hit back with the same playbook. Ignore the music, dig into the internet bag, and flip the narrative. He started reposting old Crime Stoppers commercials and supposed courtroom clips, pushing that snitch label, while captioning it all with "Keep my name out your mouth" and "No versus, let's do the stay away challenge." That's how 50 operates. He never fights you where you want the battle to be. He trolls, deflects, and spins the spotlight his way, using memes and mockery instead of bars and records. And the wild part is, it always works. Most people just don't know how to handle that kind of psychological warfare. But then came February 22nd, 2026, the day when everything shifted. T.I. sat down with the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast and said he officially lost all respect for 50 Cent after years of ducking the Versus Challenge. And this time, he didn't just clap back with jokes, he went personal. That's the move that turned a musical rivalry into one of the ugliest, most emotional beefs the culture's seen in years.
To be honest with you, I got 50, I got 54 on you right now. It's not a good look for you, brother.
That post, that single photo of Tiny, was the spark that blew everything sky high. The moment 50 Cent hit upload, the whole situation exploded. And T.I., being who he is, didn't waste time trading comments online. He went straight to the booth like a true artist. Within 24 hours, he dropped 2 back-to-back diss tracks, War on February 22nd and Right One on February 23rd, both produced by Lil Kaylee and A.B. Wright. And Right One, that one was pure venom. T.I. came swinging hard, calling 50 a $5 Nino dispatcher, clowning him as a small man in a big shell, and even tossing in a slick reference to 50's ex, Daphne Joy, hinting at her rumored links with others. Those bars were vicious. You could hear the anger, the pride, and the years of frustration spilling out through every line. It was T.I. like fans hadn't heard him in ages, sharp, aggressive, and laser-focused. The internet went up in flames instantly. Social media feeds were nothing but reactions, fans breaking down lyrics, blogs reposting snippets, and the culture talking like it was 2005 all over again. Everyone had a take, and everyone wanted to pick a side. Charlemagne the God jumped in early on The Breakfast Club and didn't hold back. He said plain and simple, "This one's on 50. Charlemagne argued that T.I. never disrespected 50 to begin with. It was 50 who made things personal for no real reason. Then one of his co-hosts said what most people were already thinking deep down. Once 50 dragged Tiny into the mess, everything changed. Charlemagne doubled down on that. He said the beef shouldn't have even reached this point, that two grown men with legendary careers should have found a way to settle it face to face like adults. But at the same time, he understood exactly why King Harris lost it, because once somebody brings your mama into it, all that rap rules talk goes out the window. Then DJ Academics chimed in, and of course, his take flipped the room upside down. He wasn't trying to play neutral at all. He said he had the scoreboard ready and was giving every round to 50 Cent, calling him the ultimate troll king, who always knows how to flip a loss into a win. It was chaos online. 2 camps, 1 war, and no signs of slowing down. DJ Academics didn't hold back. He scored it straight how he saw it, scoring the beef 4-0 in 50 Cent's favor, saying T.I. was stuck on the versus angle, while 50 was out here going for the jugular, attacking character and pride. According to Academics, that made Tip look like he was dodging the deeper issues instead of matching 50's energy head on. Then he touched on the moment that shook everyone, King Harris's dead mama comments. Academics called them holy, meaning flat out shocking, something nobody expected to hear, especially from someone that young. He also pointed out the crazy mismatch, a young rapper from Atlanta trading blows with a billionaire mogul who's been playing the industry like chess for decades. That imbalance, he said, made the whole situation even more uncomfortable to watch. Of course, that take didn't sit right with everyone. T.I.'s fans across the South came at Academics hard, accusing him of being biased toward 50 because of his New York roots. The internet lit up. Twitter threads, YouTube clips, Clubhouse debates, everyone was dissecting whether Academics was being real or just picking sides. Then Joe Budden jumped in on the Joe Budden podcast and gave one of the most balanced, thought-out takes anyone had dropped yet. He said he respected the family energy coming from the Harris camp and actually loved how T.I. went back to the booth instead of getting lost in online back and forths. Joe even called T.I.'s diss tracks the cheat code to beating 50 Cent, because the one thing 50 can't really fight against is music. Joe said it best, 50's trolling works perfectly when his opponents get emotional online, but once somebody actually drops real bars and hits the studio, 50 usually doesn't have an answer for that. Still, Budden wasn't blind to the darkness behind it all. He raised the red flag that the whole culture needed to hear. He asked the real question. Had this beef already gone too far? Once deceased family members got pulled into it, Joe said reconciliation became nearly impossible. Angela Yee covered it next on her Way Up with Yee platform, staying mostly neutral but still breaking down key updates as the chaos unfolded, making sure fans kept up with every new twist in the most explosive rap saga of the decade. Angela Yee wasn't the only one breaking down the madness. She also pointed out a key detail that most folks missed. She revealed that right after 50 Cent reignited the Harris family feud by posting that picture of Tiny, King Harris jumped back in immediately, and then something strange happened. 50 started quietly removing all T.I.-related content from his Instagram. Fans noticed fast, and it looked a whole lot like backtracking. People online were saying, wait, is 50 trying to clean this up before it gets worse? Then came Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco Johnson, the same two who low-key sparked this latest round when they had T.I. on their Nightcap podcast. They addressed the whole situation on air, breaking down everything from 50's post to King's explosive reaction, and debating whether this was just entertainment or if things were on the verge of turning real. Their tone stayed mostly lighthearted, jokes, laughter, a few sports metaphors, but underneath, you could hear that tension. Everyone was starting to realize this had gone from friendly competition to something way more serious, way too fast. And that's exactly where things stood as of February 26, 2026. King Harris's track, Made Man, was climbing the streaming charts like crazy. Fans couldn't stop replaying it, quoting bars and dissecting every line for hidden shots at 50. Meanwhile, T.I. kept teasing new material aimed straight at 50's camp, hinting that he wasn't done yet. Over on 50's side, he'd wiped his entire page clean of anything connected to T.I. No posts, no captions, nothing. But if you know 50, you know he's never quiet for long. He was still out there dropping slick jokes and shady memes in the background, keeping the fire burning without saying names. Boosie, meanwhile, had dropped his take, stood on it, and ended up catching stray shots from King himself, turning his role as the voice of reason into another branch of drama he probably didn't want. Now the whole hip-hop world is locked in, watching it unfold like a reality show nobody asked for, but everyone can't stop watching. And the question echoing through every comment section, podcast, and barbershop is the same one Boosie asked during his interview. Once you bring somebody's dead parent into a rap beef, how do you ever come back from that? That question, how do you come back from that, still hangs over the entire culture like a storm cloud. Because when lines like that get crossed, there's no easy reset button. The hip-hop world's been through all kinds of rivalries. Jay-Z versus Nas, Drake versus Meek, Gucci versus Jeezy. But this one, it hit on a deeper level. This wasn't just about bars, charts, or pride. This was about pain. As February rolled into March 2026, fans started realizing just how far this had spiraled. What began as light trolling had turned into full-blown emotional warfare. The blogs couldn't keep up. Every hour, a new post, a new live, a new reaction clip. You had people in the comments saying, this ain't rap beef anymore. This is family trauma playing out in front of millions. Behind the scenes, insiders started whispering that both camps were being told to cool it down. Label execs, OGs in the game, even mutual friends were trying to get them to chill before things crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. But pride was in the driver's seat, and neither side wanted to look like the one backing off first. T.I. stayed in the booth, recording non-stop. Word around Atlanta was that he had an entire project worth of unreleased tracks aimed at 50. Meanwhile, King was still talking his talk online, making it clear he wasn't scared of anyone, no matter how rich or powerful they were. 50 Cent, though, he was doing what he does best, playing the long game. He stayed quiet just long enough to make people think it was over, then popped back up with slick captions and old clips and coded posts that fans instantly decoded as new shots. Every time he did it, social media went wild all over again. Boosie, after catching heat from both sides, tried to step back, but the damage was already done. Now even he was part of the storyline, the voice of the streets, caught in the middle of a generational beef.
At this point, everyone watching could feel it. This wasn't just another viral hip-hop feud. This was legacy talk. This was about fathers, sons, respect, and how far people would go when their family's name gets disrespected. And as the tension kept building, one thing was certain. The next move, whoever made it, could change everything. Would someone finally step up and squash it? Or were we about to witness this thing turn into something hip-hop hadn't seen in decades? By early March 2026, the tension had reached a breaking point. Every platform, from Twitter to TikTok, was buzzing like a beehive, waiting for the next move. People were refreshing 50's page, checking King's lives, and scanning stories like it was breaking news. The energy was thick, like the whole culture knew something big was about to drop. Whispers started floating around that 50 Cent was cooking something. Not a song, but a documentary-style video about the whole feud. Rumor had it he was gathering old interviews, podcasts, and live clips to frame the story his way. That's classic 50. Turn chaos into content, spin a mess into money. But if that was true, it meant this beef was about to go next level. Not just words and tracks, but full-on storytelling warfare. Meanwhile, King Harris wasn't slowing down either. He started teasing snippets of a new track on his IG stories. lines that sounded like direct smoke aimed back at both 50 and Tootie Raw. The snippet alone sent comment sections into meltdown. King looked calm but dangerous, like he had nothing left to lose and was ready to prove he could hang with any heavyweight, no matter how legendary. T.I., on the other hand, tried to play it cool. He was posting motivational captions, talking about protecting peace and moving with purpose. But everyone knew that was code for he's plotting something behind the scenes. Atlanta insiders swore he was preparing a full-on musical response, something with features, visuals, and a message meant to put 50 back in his place. But even with all the noise, there was one big shift in the air. Fans started asking a new question: at what cost? The laughter was fading. The jokes were getting quieter. People were realizing this beef had turned heavy, too personal, too emotional. It wasn't fun anymore. It was uncomfortable. Boosie tried once again to be the voice of reason, hopping on Instagram Live saying, "This gotta stop before somebody do something they can't take back." You could hear the concern in his voice. The same man who'd once stirred the pot was now trying to calm the fire down. But with pride, ego, and millions of eyes watching, nobody was stepping back yet. This wasn't just about a post anymore. It had turned into a story about legacy, loyalty, and how far people will go when they feel disrespected in front of the whole world. And deep down, everyone knew the next chapter was gonna shake hip-hop to its core. By mid-March 2026, things were reaching a dangerous boil. What started as a feud for clout had now turned into something way bigger, something raw, emotional, and unpredictable. You could feel the pressure through every live stream, every post, every lyric drop. It wasn't about music anymore. It was about honor. King Harris, still riding the momentum from his last diss, was back in the studio again. And the word around Atlanta was that he was about to release a full EP aimed straight at 50 Cent's camp. The young blood wasn't backing down, not even after all the criticism. Clips started leaking of him in the booth, punching in bars with that same fiery energy that made the internet stop scrolling weeks ago. You could hear it in his tone. This wasn't a stunt. This was personal. Meanwhile, 50 Cent stayed in silent sniper mode. He wasn't posting memes as often anymore, but the few he did drop hit like bombs. Subtle captions, old throwback clips, and carefully timed uploads. It was like he was playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. Every time 50 hit post, the culture went crazy again, arguing over whether it was strategy or shade.
Guy had taken on a whole different stance. You could see the weight of it all on him. He went from laughing it off to looking like a man deep in reflection. On one of his recent live streams, he said, "At some point, we gotta remember this hip-hop thing started from expression, not destruction." That line got reposted everywhere, with fans debating whether that meant he was calling for peace or just tired of watching his family name get dragged through the mud. Boosie tried to stay out of the crossfire after getting burned before, but even he couldn't avoid the topic. In one of his interviews, he says something that hit hard. These new beefs don't stop at words no more. Everybody want to prove they real instead of proving they smart. The internet gave him props for that one. Behind the scenes, there were rumors that some OGs, people like Snoop, Fat Joe, and even Killer Mike were trying to reach out to calm things down before it went off the rails completely. Whether those talks worked or not, nobody knew yet, but the streets were holding their breath. At this point, it was bigger than hits or headlines. It was about the state of the culture. And everyone watching knew that one wrong move, one wrong post could turn this from rap beef into something the game would never forget. When you tell a man to dig up his mother's grave, where do you even go from there? In hip-hop, disrespect is practically part of the culture. It fuels competition, drives lyrics, and builds legends. But every once in a while, somebody crosses a line so deep that even the culture itself goes silent. And this was one of those moments. Because in this game, you can talk about money, about status, about street cred, but when it comes to family, especially the ones who aren't here anymore, that's sacred ground. Once you drag somebody's deceased parent into the mix, there's no making peace over a phone call, no quiet DM apology, no handshake for the cameras at some charity event. The damage is permanent. Every name involved, King Harris, T.I., 50 Cent, even Boosie knows what that means now. They all learned the hard way that certain words hit harder than any diss track ever could. You can trade bars, you can post memes, you can spin narratives online. But when you touch something that personal, there's no reversing it. No truce, no do-over, no clean slate. This beef started with music, a simple versus challenge, but it turned into something darker. It became a story about pride, ego, and pain that spilled way past the mic. Every live stream, every lyric, every clapback only pushed it further. What began as competition ended as caution, a reminder that even in hip-hop, there are limits that shouldn't be tested. Now, the smoke is starting to clear, but the scars are still there. The fans are left wondering what's next. Will someone step up and make peace, or will the tension linger like a ghost haunting the culture? Because one thing's for sure, once a man's mother is brought into the battlefield, there's no back to business as usual. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. And as this chapter closes, the message is loud and clear. The internet might love the drama, but the real ones know pain when they see it. This wasn't just a rap beef, it was a warning. If you've been locked in from the start, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video to keep the conversation going. Drop a comment below. Do you think there's ever a way back after words like that? Or is this the moment hip-hop finally learns where the line really is?